Turning Red is a 2022 film? 2022 film. It came straight out on Disney Plus. It was supposed to go in theaters, and I think like a month or two before it was supposed to come out, they said, nah, never mind, it's going straight to Disney Plus. And I remember watching it, I guess now it'd be almost 2 years ago, and enjoying it a lot. And now it is in theaters currently for a little while. They also did this with Soul earlier this year, and it did not do well. This one also really hasn't made that much money in the cinema. I was also the only one in the theater watching this movie. So yeah, it hasn't exactly been the most successful thing, as far as Pixar and Disney goes. But it is something they're doing. They're also doing Luca next month as well. So yeah, this is directed by, does it say? It doesn't say. It is directed by the same woman who did the short, Pow. I think that one was before Encanto back in 2021. I could be wrong. But same director as that short. I believe that won an Oscar to that short. I'm not sure. But it is that director. This is about a 13-year-old girl who is, a 13-year-old girl and going through changes. And one of those changes is that whenever she gets excited or nervous or anything like that, she turns into this big red panda. Which, for a girl, being different, being out there is not good. It's crazy. It's the end of the world. We're all going to die. And this is also at a point in time when she is really wanting to go to this boy band concert as well. So it's just not helping with everything going on. And with her wanting to go to this concert, she also has an extremely overbearing mother who, doesn't want her to be herself. She wants to be proper she wants her to be her, essentially. And, so yeah, that is kind of the movie here. I really like this movie. I know that at the time that it came out, and still people are talking about this movie not being their favorite. I personally don't understand. I really, really, really like this movie. I related to this movie a lot. I had both overbearing mom and overbearing father. There is scenes where the mom is coming to her school, and that is something my mother did. Quite a bit, actually. And she would come into the classroom. She would just stuff like that. And what this movie portrays is 100% true. Kids think you're weird because of that. Even though I'm not the one making the decision. I didn't want my mother to come to school. But she did. And so, yeah, that is very much something I related to with this. There's also, I don't like your friends because they like this, because they do this. Very much, something that I also related with as well. I remember I had a friend that my parents actually liked, but they would always complain that her mom was divorced, a single mom, and she smoked. That was the end of the world to them. Like, they didn't want me going over to her house ever because her mom was divorced. That's something that happens in this movie as well. Just odd parents, being overbearing and not accepting difference and change. And again, that's just something I really related to. My parents didn't like change. My parents wanted me to be them. My parents, still to this day, they're doing it. They think it's stupid that I spend money on a concert, which is also something that happens in this movie. Instead of spending it, putting that $50 that I spent at a concert, putting that towards student loans, because it's so important for student loans, which, yes, it is important to pay off your student loans, but at the same time, you have to enjoy your life. Otherwise, what was the point of doing those student loans? And that's very much something that is talked about kind of like in this movie, is just, I have to enjoy the things that I want to enjoy. I have to do the things that I want to do. I can't just do what you want. And that was something that I very much related to with this movie. There's also something really interesting they do in this movie as far as, my mother has a mother. And this controllingness and such has been passed down. Another thing I very much related to, my mother constantly complains about my father and constantly moans and groans whenever she calls me, to the point that I don't want to talk to her anymore. I really don't. When my mom calls, I don't always pick up the phone. When my mom calls, I'll talk to her, but I'll put her on mute sometimes. I'll mute myself and go about doing other things. I've taken a crap and just had my mom on the phone, barely listening to her, because all she does is moan and groan. And guess what? When her mom calls, she moans and groans, and guess what my mom does? My mom constantly complains and moans and groans that her mom's complaining. It's a vicious cycle here. And it is obnoxious and annoying and stupid. Like, why can't people realize that? So yeah, it is an interesting thing. I can't believe how much it related to me, especially since it's a couple 13-year-old girls. And this is something very similar to the movie Fitting In that I saw recently, and the movie Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, that came out last year. It's girls going through change, puberty, like a puberty essentially, and having to deal with those changes. And somehow I'm still relating to it as a guy. I found that very interesting with all three of those movies. So yeah, that right there just really got me. The fact that I was really relating in this situation. And the fact that there is things that you're going to like that your parents aren't. Is it bad? Not necessarily. Is it bad to want to go to a concert? No. My parents, yes. They feel that's a waste of money, that you shouldn't go to a concert. They're not going to sound as good. You might as well just listen to them on the radio. There's certain things that I feel are important to me. Spotify is something that's very important to me. My parents will not pay for any kind of music service. It's on the radio for free. That's their mindset. To me, though, I want to listen to a song when I want to listen to a song. For them, and it's that kind of thing that happens in this movie that I just really, truly appreciated. I loved seeing it on the big screen like that. I will say this, there are certain things that the mom does that's a little over the top and ridiculous. It is a cartoon, so I kind of forgive it. But it does kind of get a little annoying, especially towards the end. There's some really big things that this mom is doing, and it's just a little dumb. There is also this movie takes place in 2002. There's some things that are being said and being done that I'm just like, that's not 2002. That's more like 2010s, 2011s, 2012s. I mean, they added some things that are not from 2002. I will say that. For the most part, I would say the pacing of this movie is done well. I think it's maybe just a teeny tiny bit too long. There's a couple moments that maybe just go on a little bit too much. So yeah, I think this movie does do a good job, though, of showing middle school experience. How kids feel, going to this concert is the biggest and most important thing in the world to her. And that's very much how it is as a kid. There's certain things that are super important. I remember going and getting that last Harry Potter book. If I didn't get that book at midnight, my life was over. It's a book. It's just certain things like that are really interesting and definitely represent my experience, at least as a teenager, and dealing with overbearing parents. Something I did like about this movie as well is the mom is the one that's very overbearing. The dad is very much more open to her being herself and wanting her to be herself. That's not something I had. My dad's very much a narcissist. He very much wants things done his way, and only his way is correct. And instead of my mom supporting the kids or anything like that, she said, shut up, just let him win. Literally, quote unquote, what she would say sometimes. That dad needs to win. She took away my voice. Dad took away my voice. And it's something that's affected me my entire life. It's something I'm still trying to get over. So yeah, this movie just really hit me. And I forgot how good it was. I haven't seen it since it came out on Disney Plus in March of 2022. I'm glad I got to see this in a theater. I'm really glad Pixar are releasing their movies, even if they're not really being seen. I do want to go see Luca. Luca is one of my favorite movies of 2021, I want to say it was. So yeah, I missed Soul, but I remember seeing that back in 2020 and going, I don't like that one anyway. But maybe I do need to go back and rewatch it. So yeah, this one just really hit me, guys. I really enjoy it. There are certain, over-the-top things. There are certain messages that I know some people just, for some reason, didn't like. And I will say the ending is a little ridiculous. There's also certain things that, like, the daughter does towards the mom that's just, again, it's not of that time, and it feels a little too out there and ridiculous. Other than that, I really enjoy this movie. It's one I'll probably watch again, sooner than 2 years from now. I'll give this a 8 out of 10. I really do enjoy this movie. It's at like 68% as far as the audience score. I think it's at 95% for critics. So, I don't know. I think that audience score should be higher. I don't understand how people aren't relating to this. Maybe it's because you had to be a teenager in the 2000s. I don't know. It's really interesting to me. So yeah, tell me what you guys think of this one. Did you have a similar teenage experience? Let me know. Yeah, you guys have yourself a great day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I will see you next time.